Welcome to Egg
and Bean
Podcast. I'm Sunny.
And I'm Nate.
And welcome to our podcast where we talk about the growing pains in life.
And then we bandage it up and transport.
That's right. We have a cute little episode for you guys today.
Ooh.
Maybe. We'll see where this direction goes. But I think that Nate and I, right, we talk about being nice versus kind a lot. And it's like a topic that's very, very important to us. And so I thought we would share it with you guys.
Yeah.
So, Nate, we'll start off with you. Okay. What do you think kindness means?
So, to me, kindness means someone that is very genuine and very just they want to do things for you without having anything in return, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think the genuine part is part of my definition. It's definitely treating someone with consideration and compassion. And that involves genuine empathy for someone and understanding and doing your best to learn about this person.
And just have like a genuine connection.
Yeah, and genuine connection. And I think that's very different than what niceness means, right? So what do you think the difference between niceness and kindness is?
So for me, someone that's nice, it's like very superficial level.
Right.
It's just like giving a smile, saying good morning, you know?
Right. And it's not necessarily wrong, right?
No, it's being nice. It's being polite, you know? But someone that's kind, it's like you said, like they show you compassion. Like they actually want to know how your day is going. Instead of like, oh, good morning. They're like, oh my gosh, how are you? You know, they show interest.
I think kindness is more sincere and a lot more selfless. I think sometimes niceness is like you said, a superficial, surface level gesture that we're taught because we're all taught to have manners, right? And say our good mornings and how are yous, right? But that's super surface level. I think kindness goes way deeper than that. And I think in today's episode, we'll go deeper into what kindness really means. And I think that's something that's construed a lot is, you know, a lot of times we'll compliment someone for being nice. And I almost don't feel like that's a compliment. I don't know about you. If someone called you nice, how did you feel about it?
It's like the bare minimum.
Right?
It's like, he's nice.
Like, he's there.
Yeah, like
he exists.
He's above average.
He's above average. He's a decent human being, right?
Yeah.
I think that I've always struggled with that because as a kid, I was a very neutral person.
What do you mean by that? Neutral
as in I didn't have, it's not that I didn't have a personality, but I didn't show it, right? And I was that soft-spoken, nice kid to all of my peers, and everyone just called me nice. And I almost, over the years, started to resent it because it felt superficial. It felt like nobody really knew who I was. And it was just something that people would say. There was this activity when I was in 6th grade. My teacher had all of us it sounds a little weird, but we took a poster board and we put yarn at the top of the poster board, right? And the poster board was pretty big. And we hung it behind us on our backs, right? On our backs. And we couldn't see it, of course, because it was on our backs. And we would walk around and write something about that person. And you know, there are people who were the class clown, like, you're so funny, right? And then, oh, you're so good at this, or you're really good at handball, right? This is 6th grade, and you're really good at tetherball.
Oh, I was a beast at tetherball.
Yeah, and that was a huge compliment, you know, if you were really good at tetherball or handball, right? And mine, you know, you would go home and you would read it, and mine was just, you're nice.
Nice.
You're good at math. That was another one. Like, I was good at math, right? Because I never
got that one.
I was a mathlete, right? But to me at the time, I wasn't offended, but it just really showed me that I really wasn't showing people who I really was. And it felt like nobody really knew me if that's all they could say about me after knowing me for that long. Right. And, you know, in elementary school, you're with these classmates all day, every day. Right. And this was even coming from the people I ate lunch with.
Your
right.
Friends.
My friends, my closest friends. Right. Of course, I can understand that about like people I never really hang out with. You know, but my closest friends even felt that way. So it was almost, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's it's condescending at all. I think when you call someone nice, that's just colloquially what we say, because we don't really go, oh, he's so kind. That sounds a little weird, right? We usually kind of use it interchangeably. But I think when that's all that someone says about you.
It's like somebody saying, he's nice. I was like, oh, he's really nice.
Right. There's a tone difference too. That's true. Like if you ask, like if I met someone, right? I met your friend, for example, friend A, and you go, what did you think about her or him? And I'm like, oh, he's nice. Right? Like that says enough. That says enough about what you think about the person versus, oh my God, he's so nice. Yeah. Like, I love him. He's so nice. Right? I don't know. I think there's a huge difference in tone, of course. Do you think kindness is important to you as a human being?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. The reason why if you live your life, which is very miserable.
Right.
What kind of life is that?
Yeah.
It's like wherever I go, I like to spread kindness
right.
and make people
like
smile.
Pay it forward. Yeah. Do you think that, do you consider yourself a nice person or kind person?
I like to consider myself a kind person.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been situations where I wasn't the nicest, you know,
right.
I'm not perfect. I'm human.
Right.
But I like to be very smiley and outgoing and
right.
just genuine with everyone. You
right.
know?
I mean, you show it in your small gestures. I think a lot of times kindness is shown through thoughtful gestures, genuine gestures, whether that is, you know, knowing someone likes taro boba and brown sugar boba and bringing it.
Yeah.
That's very thoughtful and very kind, right? I think a lot of times you, for example, on shift, we stopped working together actually, and you brought me little things and left them like on my car windshield or something. So when I got off shift, like I would see it. Or even when we worked together, I would bring you food, right? And it's like small things. Like if you told me you like quail eggs, right? Which Nate loves quail eggs. You know those like quail eggs you get at the Korean like supermarket?
The seasoned ones? Ooh.
Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know what quail eggs are, they're basically just mini eggs. But the Koreans do this thing where, I don't know if it's just the Koreans, but what I know is that the Koreans will marinate it in soy sauce and a bunch of yeah, it's so good. Just like with some rice, so good.
I don't know, Sunny. I've only eaten quail eggs, just like pop in my mouth.
Yeah, okay. Well, you should try it with some rice, maybe a little bit kimchi too. But yeah, like doing kind things like that. And then it doesn't even have to be buying things or bringing something. I think if you're feeling down that day, doing a little something like extra special for you. I don't know. It's nice to do that because you feel a sense of joy too when you do something kind for someone, but it's also nice to receive it.
Oh, it's definitely really nice to receive it. One of my partners, something that I remember that I thought was super, super kind of them is I have stomach issues, right? Everybody knows I have stomach issues.
Right.
So she bought a little Tums for me on shift. So when my stomach was acting up, she would be like, "You need a Tums?"
I did something similar. I bought you deodorant. You're not gonna mention that? You don't think that's kind?
I mean, it is the nicest way to tell me that I was stinky.
Yeah, you know.
So I guess you were nice.
But that brings me, here's the thing. That brings me to my point is a lot of times, like you can see me bringing you deodorant as something that's really rude, right? But that's just perspective, okay? Because I am doing you
You're doing me a favor because...
Well, because why would I let you go and meet our patients all stinky?
Yeah.
And then they complain to our management that the EMT showed up and was stinky.
I wasn't that stinky.
I'm just saying I'm kind of being helpful here.
Thank you. You're the reason why I kept my job.
Breaking news. Nay has a job because I bought him deodorant.
Yeah.
That's clickbait. That's big clickbait.
Because I don't have a job.
I prevented Nate from getting fired because I bought him deodorant. Breaking news.
People are going to think I don't shower or something.
Nate showers. I swear. I swear. 2 fingers up. What is this from Hunger Games?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that I'm really pointing at something though, because a lot of times it's not just the deodorant. I'm using that as an example, but do you think being kind is more important than being nice, or the other way around? Because, you know, in a lot of ways I can be more polite. You know, I could let you just, hey, you know, maybe you didn't say the right thing. Maybe you were a little bit ignorant about something you said and I just didn't tell you.
What about it?
What do you mean? What if I just didn't tell you that, like, you said something that was really rude and you didn't know that, and I didn't let you know, and I just continued on to let you live the rest of your life saying things like that?
That's kind of mean.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I would honestly, me personally, I'd rather you tell me. Like, I'd rather my friends tell me, like, hey, listen, love you, but that is probably not something you should say, right? Like, and I think a lot of times that's where the niceness, polite thing is like, oh, I'm too nice. Like, I couldn't tell them that. Like, I don't want to tell them and hurt their feelings and tell them that, like, that's probably what they shouldn't have said.
So what you're saying, sometimes it's kind to tell them the truth.
Right. And it's kind to sometimes have to be a little bit not nice.
Okay.
Right? I think that's my point is, of course, there's a balance, right? You shouldn't be like...
You smell funny.
Yeah, just for no reason, right? But I think, of course, bashing on someone is not kind nor nice, right? But, you know, letting them know in a conducive manner is kind. And I think a lot of times people don't view that as being very nice.
So it's kind of like... Is it nicer to tell the person they have lettuce on their teeth, or just to like let them?
Right, right. Like, would you tell them that
their zippers down?
Yeah, their zippers down. You would let them go through the whole day with toilet paper sticking out of their pants, you know? Because I don't want to say it, right? I'm a nice person. I think that's I
don't want to embarrass them.
Yeah, I think it's an excuse. I honestly, genuinely think this might be a hot take and we might piss off some people, but I think that sometimes people use the nice thing as a excuse for not wanting to whether confront the situation or, I don't know, have a conversation about something, or just let them know because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But I think it's more so not you saying it, it's more the way you say it.
Yeah. Right?
So, I don't know. That's like my thought process on it. I don't know if y'all agree with me because I have strong opinions about this.
You have very strong opinions.
I do.
About everything.
Well, because I think in the past, once I started not wanting to be that nice girl anymore, I wanted to be genuine and I wanted to help people out. And I'll genuinely tell you, you know me. I'll let you know if, listen, you probably shouldn't have done that, you know? I'll let you know. But that's because that's my way of being, like, I care about you. Why would I waste my time and tell you things if I didn't care about you? Because to be honest, if I didn't care about you,
just let me be.
I'd let you be. I'd let you go embarrass yourself for the rest of your life and let you know that, like, that's not, you know, okay to do or whatever.
But then that's not being nice.
So that's the thing, is that leads me into my point of I don't think I am 100% kind all the time. I think I'm selectively, and I will admit to that. I think my energy is very limited and my time is very limited, and I definitely prioritize the people that I really, really care about and give them 100% of my kindness. Okay. Not that I'm rude to, like, other people, but
you're nice to them,
right? Yeah, I'll keep up the I guess, appearance, if you want to say. I'll be polite, I'll be nice, but I'm not going to go the extra mile. Right? And I think a lot of times too, even with my friends, as much as I want to let you know in a nice way or kind way, and both, you know, I want to be kind, but also say it in a nice way. I let my emotions get the best of me sometimes, and I may or may not be the kindest.
I accept your apology.
This is my apology to Nate for some of the things that I've probably said that were a little bit harsh. But I don't think it's realistic for all of us to be 100% kind all the time, no?
It's really not. It takes a lot of energy to be really nice to people.
Yeah.
And if they don't deserve it, then they don't get it.
I think sometimes I always feel bad about it too. So, for example, at work, you know, when we had trainees, and my goal is to, in my opinion, help them get better at our job, right? And in that moment, we're not friends. We can be friends after, but me and the trainee, I don't see them as my friend yet.
Okay.
Right? You're not my friend. I'm here. We're here to help you do your job and learn your job. And I'm going to tell you when you are not doing it right. And definitely, I will say, as much as that is my genuine reasoning for it, and I, from my heart, just want them to be better, because I don't think extreme coddling is going to help people. So, and that's our job. Our job is to tell them when they're not doing something right.
Yeah.
But definitely I'll go home sometimes during, you know, some of those shifts, and I'd feel bad about it. You know, I'd go home and I would go, you know I was just doing my job and trying to help them. But I do feel really bad, because I'm sure, you know, if the roles were reversed, I would feel a bit sad that I wasn't doing so well. But at the end of the day, I would be grateful that they told me that I wasn't doing it right, instead of telling me I was, or just not saying anything because they wanted to be nice to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, especially at work, like, I would want somebody to tell me if I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to get better. It's to pinpoint like what your faults are.
Yeah. I think I have a hard time with that, with not feeling pressured all the time to be nice. I think being on the internet is a huge pressure, because I could be saying something because I want to help you, but if it doesn't come off nice, now I'm a B word, or I'm mean, and I'm this and that, right? I'm not a very nice person. You know those people, those TikTok videos you've seen where they go, oh, I met, I don't know, Justin Bieber, or I met Ariana Grande. She wasn't very nice, right?
Well, I mean, they're people too. They're
That's
gonna
what
have
I'm
bad
saying.
days.
Yeah. And I think there's a pressure to constantly come off as a nice person all the time. And it's not to say that we're like mean, but sometimes it's just not realistic. And you not having the capacity to be kind in that moment does not necessarily mean you're a bad person or rude. I don't know.
The way that I see it, it's like, it's very tiring being that nice person.
Yeah.
The way, from my experience, it's like, I've always been like that really nice person. And the days that I am not like that, it's people expect me to be that way. And when I'm not, they get upset, or they think that something's wrong with me, or I'm upset at them.
Right.
And it's just me being a human. Like, I have bad days too, you know?
Right. And like, versus the people who are notoriously kind of mean, and then they're nice for one day, and everyone's, like, oh my, no, everyone's, wow, he's nice today.
Oh.
You know that like teacher who's just like in a bad mood all the time, but then that one day he's in a good mood.
Those are my favorite teachers.
Yeah. But don't you feel special? Like, or if you have a grandfather relative who's always grumpy, I've had patients where they're always grumpy, and then that one day they're nice to me, and I go, oh my God, he likes me.
I think to me, it's like when dogs don't usually like people, but they come up to you anyways.
Right,
And they
you
let
feel
you pet 'em.
special.
I feel so special.
So do you think that people don't feel special when we're kind to them?
I don't know.
Right?
I think it's kind of just expected.
Like it's expected, and if we don't do it, it's just, oh,
It's like, oh, you're gross.
she's not actually that way. She's fake.
Yeah.
It's like one bad day can almost ruin everything. Yeah, I feel that's something that I've been really thinking about a lot recently. This like pressure to constantly be super sweet to everyone. Just to keep up that, I guess, image. It's definitely tiring. And I know we talk about it a lot, being like the happy friend or the funny friend. I think that's why a lot of comedians are not very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of comedians, they joke about their pains. And it's sometimes like the funniest jokes, but when they're delivering it, like you could hear the pain sometimes.
You can?
Yeah.
Which ones?
So the one that I could think of is like Pete Davidson.
Oh, he has a lot of trauma.
Yeah, he has lots of
Yeah, you can
trauma.
tell.
And like when he's saying the joke, like everybody's laughing and stuff, but you could
Right.
hear like in his voice, like it cracks a little bit or like breaks
Right.
a little bit.
It gives it away.
It's still funny though.
You go. I still enjoy it. It's still
Yeah.
very great. Do you like watching him, Pete Davidson?
The guy that I love watching is Theo Vaughn.
Uh-huh.
He's so funny.
Tell me a little bit about him.
He says just stupid stuff on the internet, and it's just like out of pocket or random things that
Yeah.
no normal person would ever think of.
Like what? Give me an example.
That's the thing, is like he's so random that
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't
I'll
know.
go watch him later so I can get on your page.
But what I really, really like about him is he's such a funny guy. He's always goofy, but the times that he's serious, like he gets really serious, and it's like almost like like opposite extremes.
Yeah. So that like dichotomy is really interesting. I have a random question. Who do you consider one of the most kindest people that you've ever known?
The kindest people I've ever
Or like
known.
person. It could be your family. It could be a teacher you once had, a babysitter, a friend.
I can't think of anybody right now.
Not one?
No.
Really?
Yeah. What about you? So maybe if you give me one, I could think of it.
I think my mom is a very, very good example of our topic today. Is she, in her heart, at her core, is one of the kindest people I've ever met. She never badmouths anybody, ever. The only time she's ever really badmouthed anyone was, me, her, me or her, like my brother or something. But it's genuinely out of care and concern, right? I think as a kid, I didn't understand that because her words to me were very mean and rude. And I wouldn't understand. I would question why she was saying these things to me. And as I got older, I realized that was her way of expressing, maybe not in the healthiest way, but expressing that she was concerned and worried about me and that she just wanted the best for me, right? And I think that's what we're going back to, is she genuinely cares. Like, yes, maybe she wasn't saying some of the nicest things when she was a little frustrated or emotional, but she did her absolute best with taking care of me and my brother. And she would do it in small ways where if she was eating something, I already ate dinner, but I go, Mom, what are you eating? And she would give me a bite, and if I really liked it, she'd give it to me, right? And then when we made dumplings, for example, we used to hand make dumplings together, and she would make prettier ones, and me and my brother would make some not so pretty ones, and she would let us eat the pretty ones, and she would eat, the scraps or whatever. And just like small things like that, where if she knew we liked something, she would, try to buy it for us. Just all of these different ways that she would show it. And I think as a kid, I was more so concerned with what she was saying to me than what she was doing for me. Of course, in an ideal world, we would like to have both. But I almost rather, I don't know about you, take the kind actions and the gestures rather than the kind words, because sometimes they almost feel as if they're just words.
Like not genuine?
Not genuine, but like show not tell. Right? Would you rather have someone tell you they care about you, or would you rather have them show that they care about you? Of course, ideally we want both.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, I think it's different for everyone, but I would rather have someone show me than tell me. What about you?
I think sometimes that could be a little bit confusing for me, because their love language might be totally different than what my love language is, and I just might not know that that's the way that they show their love. Right. How do you get around that?
I think it's learning what their love language is. We talked about what kindness is, right? Genuine, trying to understand them, trying to learn about them. And so if you can understand, like for me, I understood that my mom wasn't much of a verbally affectionate person, and she would more so do things for me. So I now know, right? So I think it's, instead of looking at it from, oh, well, I like it when blank, or if I was to show someone I cared, I would do this. To be kind and understanding is to look at it from their perspective.
Yeah, I like that.
We're going to take a quick break real quick. Nate's little...
My nail fell off.
Yeah, I see that you're a little distracted. Do you want to show the camera real quick before we go on a break?
My nail fell off in the middle of filming, so it's right here. You don't believe me.
We need to decontaminate the place now. It's been contaminated. We'll be right back. This is an emergency. And we're back. We dealt with this major,
it grew back,
medical emergency. It magically grew back.
How long do you think it's gonna take? Couple months?
More than that. That's a big nail too. You got some big nails. I think your nail is about the size of my thumb.
It looks ugly.
I think that nail is the size of my thumb. This is ridiculous. We're gonna go straight into a interesting but maybe a little bit of a controversial topic, given we're talking about nice versus kind. What are your thoughts on this whole nice guy narrative?
The nice guys finish last?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, you, right? You're a nice guy, right? You're kind, right? And when in previous episode, we talked about you doing a lot for your friends, but also, of course, the people, like the girls or people that you're interested in. What do you think about this nice guy mentality?
I don't understand it. I don't get it, because you're super nice to a girl and they think you're boring for that.
Right. Boring how?
Just like, I guess it goes along with like nice being very superficial. It's just like very basic just politeness.
Right. So do you think girls are viewing it as you being superficial, and then guys are taking it as, oh, they want bad guys. They want me to treat her poorly.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
And maybe you're onto something, Sunny.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all that's playing in my head is the Nice Guys song by Ryan Higa and his friends.
I remember him.
Yeah, and Ryan Higa.
Yeah.
I know all the words. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
I wish you knew this song. Am I going to sing this solo?
Yeah, you are.
Now I'm embarrassed.
This is going to be a TikTok.
No, but it's okay. But I think it's important to this conversation because in the song, it goes, nice guys finish last. That's why I'll treat you like trash. It's not what I really want to do. But you only date bad guys, so I'll give it my best try to treat you the way you want me to. And then this part's really funny because he goes, I'll never open a door or pull out a chair. You can tell me how your day was, but I don't really care. And if you ever get cold, you'll just have to hack it, because I'll be cold too if I gave you my jacket. Like, whoa, you ain't sitting up front. Front is for the homies. More. You can sit in the trunk. And when the waiter brings the bill, something I'll never reach for my wallet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is my favorite part.
There's this one line where he goes, "Do I look fat in this dress?" "Hell yeah, you do." "Wait, let me speak your language. Cows go moo." And I think, but that's what I'm saying is, you know, if you're listening to the song, it's this narrative of, oh, I'm nice to this girl, but she doesn't like it. So I'm going to do all these things like not open the door. I'm not going to pull out the chair. I'm not going to pay for dinner. I'm going to tell you you're fat. The cows go moo. You got it now? Okay. You know, I think that's a common phenomenon. You know, someone will do something nice, right? For example, for a girl, and then they don't necessarily respond the way that they want you to respond, and they think that it's not them. Of course it's not them. Of course it can't be them
because they're the nice guy.
Exactly. And it's her. She's the problem, right? She doesn't like nice guys. Like, she wants to be treated like trash. So what do you think about that? And I'll give you my perspective from a girl's perspective, and you can start with you. So how do you feel when girls don't respond well to you being nice to them?
What do you mean by like not responding to your niceness?
Like rejecting you or not wanting to be with you, and you're like, I just did all of these things. I took you to dinner. I told you you were pretty. I bought you gifts. I made you a basket.
So I think what a basket.
Yeah, a little like care basket.
So I think it comes into play again, like being nice and being kind. So when you're doing all these things for that person, if you're kind, you're doing it without any expectation of getting anything in return.
Right.
But if you're doing all these things and like you're being that nice guy,
right.
like
so it's not genuine, right?
It's not genuine.
Right. You're expecting them to
like, I did like this for you. Why didn't you respond?
Right. I bought you this Fendi bag. Bought you this Gucci flip-flops. Like,
I got you this $1 ice cream cone from McDonald's.
Right. And I think a lot of times too, you know, in our episode on relationships, remember I mentioned it's one puzzle piece and another puzzle piece trying to fit together. Not one's better than another. You trying to buy all these things for this person isn't going to make this person fit with you better, right? Like, you trying to add parts to this puzzle piece isn't going to make you make it fit you better. And it's not necessarily their fault. However, I will offer the flip side of this argument. Okay. Is that there are girls who do not necessarily appreciate the nice things that guys do and will use them, take them for granted, all of these things, right? So why are you doing nice things for them? Right? Why?
They're down bad.
Right? That's the thing is, I would say respect yourself enough, right? And it's okay. You gave it a shot. That's not on you, right? Given that someone's genuinely nice and you were just trying to show your affection and do nice things for this person, right? And they took it for granted. They were rude. They used you and then threw you out. Stop talking to them. Just stop talking to them. Yeah. Instead of, putting that anger into everyone else and creating this whole narrative of, oh, nice guys finish last or whatever. Just remove yourself from this girl. There are girls out there that are nice, and there are girls out there who will appreciate it. This one's just not it.
She's not it.
Right?
For the streets.
For the streets. But I think it's important to not generalize. I think it's a similar process or phenomenon that happens with racism. You have one bad experience with a race, and then now you just generalize the whole race.
That's bad. Right?
So same thing, you have a bad experience of a girl taking you for granted, using you and throwing you out, and now, oh, nice guys finish last. I'm a nice guy and blah, blah, blah. And then now you're just internalizing your anger. You probably once were a nice guy, and now you're not very nice, are you, anymore? Right? And now you're going to do things like the song said, because you think that's what they want.
Yeah. But in reality, they just didn't like you.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to like you. They wasn't the person for you, right? So I don't know. I think this nice guy narrative can be very damaging if people take it too far and internalize it and let it mess with their head a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think you've ever experienced that where you got angry?
No. I always took rejection pretty good. And like I said, when I talk to someone, I don't really set expectations.
Right.
I just see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Have you experienced friends of yours or past friends of yours who've gotten mad that a girl rejected them? No?
No.
So you've never experienced that ever?
Say the question again.
Have you ever had friends or people in your life who didn't respond well to being rejected?
To being rejected?
Yeah.
There has been some times where a friend of mine, he's like, oh, she rejected me. She's a B.
Yeah.
And like, he's like talking like
a lot of
so
crap.
much trash on this girl just because he rejected her.
Yeah.
But it's okay if somebody doesn't like you, you know? Not,
right.
Like you said, not everybody's going to like you.
Right.
And nobody's obligated to respond to the nice things that you do.
Right. I like that. Like no one's, and that's the thing is you should do nice things and kind things because you want to do them and not because you're expecting something back. Yeah. I think that's a common thing that I've experienced myself where, you know, I've given my number before in the past because to be nice.
How did that go?
Not very well, you know, because let's say I'm not necessarily trying to talk to this person, but I'm a little bit scared that they're going to be upset. And I've actually gotten angry texts because I didn't.
You've gotten angry texts?
Yeah, threatening texts, actually, because I did not want to pursue a relationship with a guy.
You got threats?
Yeah, threats.
What kind of a guy does that?
Yeah, threats. It's a little scary, too, because you're just a little bit nervous about what they might do. I mean, maybe just me, but I've heard a lot of scenarios where, you know, the girl breaks up with the guy or rejects the guy, and then on the less extreme side gets her car keyed, but on the more extreme side gets murdered. We've seen that a lot, like time and time again, like violence between.
It actually happened to one of my friends.
Yeah. And I think you never think that's going to be that close to your life or to your personal life. And do you want to share a little bit about that? It's okay if you don't.
I think that would be for another
episode.
Another time, because it's still kind of fresh and like I don't want to talk about it publicly.
Yeah, but it's hurtful to see that when you see like, oh, it starts off something small like, oh, she rejected me, to, oh, now my friend is gone because some guy couldn't handle rejection.
It's crazy,
right?
It's very sad.
It's very scary. So that's what I mean by like these threats are very terrifying, but then they want to go around and say, oh, nice guys finish last, nice guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm a nice guy.
You're a psycho.
And here's my thought process. I've never heard a really nice guy call themselves nice.
Yeah, people. Usually people say it about you, not about yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're calling yourself a nice guy, like, this could be a hot take, but I personally never heard someone I thought was genuinely nice call themselves a nice person.
Yeah, it's like somebody bragging about how great they are.
Yeah, like usually the people who call themselves smart are not smart.
So when I say I'm not smart, I'm smart.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
you see, it's
stupid
like,
up in here.
I'm gonna call myself stupid every day.
I'm fat.
But yeah, you know, I think that is very interesting to me because I don't know. I think it's a topic that people constantly bring up, you know, a lot. And I've seen it in my own life with myself and with my friends. And I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that one?
I think I gave all the thoughts that I had about it.
Okay, well, I know we just said that we don't talk about ourselves being very, you know, being nice people. Mm-hmm. Because that usually doesn't happen. Yeah. But has there been a time where you did a random act of kindness or you saw a random act of kindness?
So this actually happened before we were filming, the day of like one of the filming days that we had. I was running late and I was coming all the way from Laguna Beach. And then this random older gentleman stops me with his bike. And he's like, hey, please stop, please. So I'm almost like a little cautious. I stop and ask him, oh, what's going on? He tells me that it was his first day testing out the bike. He built bikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was testing it out, and it was like one of those big, heavy ones that have like the fat tires, you know? It popped on him, and he was about 10-minute drive, like car drive from his house. So he was begging me. He's like, hey, can you please take me home? Like, I'll pay you for this. And it was just like so random. The reason why he stopped me was because I had a truck. So
you had a truck. Oh, your Tacoma, your baby.
My little baby. But so I took this man to his house and I started talking to him, and like I was asking about his job before retirement, and it turns out he was a manufacturer of cameras, and not just like filming cameras, like those $60,000 cameras. And he was just telling me his experience, and like when we got to his house, he was showing me like all the cameras that he has, like his different cars and motorcycles. And I really love that interaction, because if I wouldn't have stopped for him and like been nice to him, I wouldn't have met like such an amazing person.
Right.
Like, he was really cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cute. Did you get his contact?
Yeah. So I got his number and I was talking to him about like the podcast, because we had just started it.
Oh my God.
And he was like giving me tips and like what to do. And like I gave him my number. We keep in touch, and he actually listens to the podcast.
That's really sweet. Yeah. See, I think a lot of times, you know, we might be in a rush to get somewhere, and, you know, you're on that cusp of, oh, should I stop? Or like, I got to get going.
Yeah. I couldn't say no. I'm that type of person that can't say no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there was one time where we were driving and you pulled over because someone had like their car stopped working, and we pushed it. Okay, it was you pushing it. We pushed it. More like Nate was pushing it. And I'm just like.
So yeah, the reason why I stopped with that guy, because he was in a dangerous area. Yeah. Like in the freeway.
Yeah, he was.
There was no shoulder, so we just pushed him onto the shoulder.
Yeah. You pushed that by yourself, basically. That was very impressive. I'm very proud of you for that.
Thanks. But what about you, Sunny? Like anything that you've experienced, like kindness, or that you showed someone kindness?
I feel very uncomfortable talking about my acts of kindness.
Why?
Because, again, it just feels very braggy. I think it's a lot of times I just don't like talking about it. I remember that one time that we did our little makeshift
food
drive, right, to pass out to people who did not have homes. I was very, you know, not sure if I should film that.
Yeah,
I didn't film it. Yeah, I didn't film. I filmed when people brought and donated stuff, but I didn't film the part where we
drove around.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I wanted to film it because it was a vlog day, and I wanted to really, you know, document all of these people who were so generous enough to come meet me at this random parking lot and donate water and snacks and blankets and whatever, right? And I think that was really important to me. But I think a lot of times when I do a, you know, random act of kindness, I don't like to go talk about it very much. But there's this one time where I was on my way to my friend's and I stopped by to get Starbucks for us. And it was really cold. This was when it was really rainy here in LA. Remember those like 3-4 months that it was just raining here in LA?
Like, not too long ago?
Yeah, like literally a week ago. It's still gloomy here. But I had parked and I was walking towards the Starbucks, and there was a, you know, homeless man laying on the sidewalk, but it was a sidewalk that was right next to the street, and the sidewalk was very narrow. He looked very uncomfortable, but he looked like he was sleeping. And it was really cold, like really, really cold that day. And so I just walked into Starbucks, and I was standing there ordering, and I just couldn't stop thinking about how cold he must be, because I hate being cold. I freak out when it's cold, right? And so I bought, just like extra stuff for him, like a hot chocolate and just like a bunch of food, whatever. And while I was waiting for my Starbucks order, there was this lady who came in super rude to the barista, just screaming about how she wanted this one drink a certain way and they didn't make it that way. And it was just this whole thing. And it made me really upset, right? And so I, once she left, I like went up to grab my order, and I grabbed my order, and I was like, I'm so sorry, like she treated you that way, like you're doing great, and she was like, oh no, it's fine, I deal with it all the time, right? And it just made me sad. But as I walked out, I put the bag of whatever I bought for him and the drink right next to him. But like I said, it was a very small sidewalk, and I didn't want to wake him, because when I placed it down, he didn't even move. So I didn't want to wake him and scare him. So I just left and walked away. But I was driving away, and all I could think about was, oh my God, what if someone kicked it over and spilled hot chocolate, steaming hot chocolate all over him? And I was freaking out the whole way, because I was very anxious about the fact that I was just trying to do something nice. And then what if I burn him? And I, to this day, still think about it. What if I knocked him over, someone knocked it over and burned his face, because it's hot.
Yeah.
I think it makes me really sad when I see that. Like, there was another time where someone was eating food out of the trash can, and like, it makes my heart hurt when I see that, because I love food, and like, I have the privilege and the pleasure to eat good food, and just seeing someone, like, I'm not looking at it from a condescending way. I think I also don't like talking about it, because I don't want to feel like, or seem as if I'm being condescending, or
twist your words,
or twist my words. But I just felt like it hurt my heart to see that.
It's like something that we take for granted.
Yeah, we get to eat food every day, and there's this guy who's eating out of the trash can, and it just made my heart hurt so much. So, I just ran to like the CVS, and like I pulled over, ran into CVS, bought a bunch of stuff, and you could tell that people were so rude to this guy, because when I pulled over and I was like, "Hey, sir, I bought."
Defensive.
Yeah, he was scared. He was he looked at that bag like it was gonna be like bomb or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to say. I just said, "Hey, sir, this is for you," and he looked at me, and he was so scared. He wouldn't even take it at first, and I was just like, "Please take it." And then he eventually took it, and I just got back in my car. He didn't really say anything, and then I got back in my car. I was like, put on my seatbelt, and I looked over, and he was looking at it, and then he looked at me, and he gave me a smile.
Aww.
And that really warmed me, because I don't know, like, that makes me so sad.
Yeah. That
people don't get to eat food the way that like I get to, and that to me is really sad, but I think that's as much as I'll say about my kind deeds, because it makes me uncomfortable. I'm genuinely uncomfortable, because
you're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think I've never actually said that out loud. I've never even told you this.
No.
Yeah.
I remember hearing this story.
Yeah.
But I do remember of one time that I did something nice, and I felt really good.
Yeah.
So back when we worked together, we would work like holidays all the time, right? So we wouldn't get the days off. But there was this one time, I think it was Thanksgiving, and I was driving to work. And on the exit of the freeway, I see this little kid. He's like 12, 14. He's selling flowers on Thanksgiving. And I don't know why, but I had my lunch with me, and it was like ribs, mashed potatoes, like really good. And it was good Tupperware too.
Yeah, good Tupperware.
I stopped, and I'm like, hey, he spoke Spanish. I'm like, are you hungry? He's like, yes, I'm very hungry. I'm like, here, I want to give you this lunch.
Yeah. Aww.
So I gave it to him, and I even like detoured a little bit. But when I did a U-turn, it was the nicest thing ever, because he crossed the street to the other side where his little brother was, and they shared the food together.
Stop. That's so precious.
And it made me feel so nice, but I felt so bad. I was like,
yeah. It's one of those things where you feel happy that you could bring a smile to someone's face, but also at the same time, it makes you so sad. And I almost don't like saying that, because I don't want it to sound like I'm coming from a place of I'm looking down upon them, you know, because by saying I feel bad, that almost sounds condescending, and that's not what I'm trying to convey. Yeah. And I think these things are hard to tell in story form because you don't want it to come off the wrong way. Honestly, Nate and I are both very tired.
Exhausted.
We both had early mornings and worked all day.
Yeah.
And how long have you been awake at this point?
I've been awake since 4:30. It is
11 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I've been awake pretty early. Yeah. Last night, probably max 3 hours of sleep.
Nice.
So,
it's minimum.
Yeah. But we're doing our best for you guys. So if this episode was a little low energy, I'm very sorry. But we love you very, very much.
Yes.
Do you want to end off with parting words?
Parting words? Let's say a quote from my favorite person, Theo Von.
Yes.
Nothing happens if nothing happens.
Amazing.
I love how simple it is, and that's why I resonate with it.
I love that. And yeah, that would be end. Thank you for listening to Egg
and Bean
Podcast. We love you.